So a few days ago, we finally got The Boys Season 5 trailer, and instantly, the internet exploded with questions. Fans are already cooking up theories left and right, from who Homelander is punching in the trailer to which character might not make it out alive this season. So let's not waste any more time, let's jump straight into the first theory. Let's talk about the most popular theory to start off. Who is Homelander punching? Now, there's a lot of speculation on who it is, and we know it's someone important since it plays a massive part in the trailer. Could you imagine they did all of that and then it turns out to be Ashley, or a character we don't care about at all? Let's start with the most likely suspect, and the one a lot of fans are pointing to, Homelander's son, Ryan. People think it's him because Homelander doesn't look angry in that scene. He looks hesitant, almost sad while he's throwing the punches. That alone rules out most other characters. Plus, Homelander has a burn mark on his chest. And there aren't many supes in the show who can shoot lasers anymore unless Season 5 introduces someone new. We also know Ryan is going to go rogue in this season. In the trailer, he looks absolutely evil, and without Butcher or Homelander guiding him, he has become a total wild card this season. He also killed Grace Mallory in a moment of anger, so he's clearly dealing with a lot emotionally. So maybe he decides to confront his father, Homelander. Maybe things escalate and Ryan ends up getting the Omni-Man treatment. After all, he would get destroyed. He's just a kid and Homelander is a full-grown man. Another person I originally thought it could be is Soulja Boy. It would make sense on why Homelander looks sad instead of furious. He's fighting his own father, and with this being the final season of the show, they really need to make Homelander feel scary and threatening again, and beating up Soulja Boy into a bloody pulp would definitely do that. Maybe Soulja Boy keeps calling Homelander a pussy and making fun of him, and one day Homelander finally snaps and takes him out for good. The last suspect is A-Train. We all know he's basically cooked in this final season. There's literally no way he makes it out alive, but he just doesn't match the context of the scene, and I don't believe it's him at all. And honestly, the burn marks on Homelander's suit make it pretty clear it's probably Ryan, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if it turns out to be Soulja Boy instead. Some fans have also thrown out the name Stan Edgar, which is also interesting, but I don't think Homelander would be super emotional if it was Edgar, especially at this point in the story. So just like A-Train, he doesn't quite fit the criteria. Now let's move on to another theory from the trailer. Near the end, we see Homelander screaming and blasting his laser eyes straight into the sky, and he looks more powerful than ever. At this point, they aren't even lasers anymore, they're practically giant beams of light. But if you look closely during that shot, there's what looks to be a needle laying next to Homelander. This theory connects to Gen V Season 2, and since I didn't watch that shit, the details might be a little off. But apparently they introduced a new type of compound V that makes soup stronger and slows down aging, or something along those lines. I'll be honest, I don't fully know what the hell I'm talking about, but the idea is that Homelander might have injected himself with this new version of compound V, which would explain his power boost and make him age slower or not at all, since we all know he's worried about that. That's basically the whole theory. And again, if you pay close attention to the scene, the person standing in front of him looks a lot like Soulja Boy, so maybe Soulja Boy is the one who helped Homelander get this new compound V, since they seem to be working together in Season 5. Plus, Soulja Boy knows a lot of Vought's secrets and probably has access to what Homelander needs, and honestly, I hope this ends up being true and Homelander really does become insanely powerful and goes on an absolute tear, just destroying everyone, because I don't know about you guys, but I am so freaking sick and tired of people saying Spider-Man or Captain America would beat Homelander in a fight. Even though I'm pretty sure the current version of Homelander without the power boost would still be able to take out Spider-Man, but let me know in the comments down below what you think. Speaking of Gen V, let's actually get to a theory involving the Guardians of Godolkin, because unfortunately, they're canon and officially part of this universe now. There's a pretty plausible theory that by the end of the show, they'll become the new Seven. Homelander will be gone, the Deep will be gone, Black Noir will be gone, and the series will end up with a new group of heroes who actually want to help people. And look, even if you're not the biggest fan of Gen V or the characters like I am, the idea does make a lot of sense. They're a team learning to work together, and each of them has the potential to be an actual hero, not another corrupted soup. I could totally picture a scene where they're sitting at the Seven's table, maybe even calling themselves something else entirely. There are even rumors that Gen V might get a third season after Season 5 of The Boys, and honestly, the logical direction would be the Guardians becoming the new heroes of the city. But now let's talk about a theory everyone is waiting for. We all know Homelander is going to die in the final season. The real question is how. There are a lot of possible ways they could do it, and honestly, I just hope they don't go with something super brutal and over the top. Because when you look at Homelander's backstory, he's more of a tragic character than the ultimate villain. He's not innocent, obviously, but he's not the true mastermind behind everything either. A lot of people think Ryan will get the final hit, but since it looks like Ryan is getting absolutely worked in the trailer, I don't see them going with that. The most realistic option is Billy Butcher. The entire show has been building towards a final showdown between him and Homelander, so story-wise that makes the most sense. If it's not Ryan or Butcher, I honestly don't see who else could do it in a way that feels like a proper ending. But there's one particular theory I've always liked. Instead of killing Homelander, they find a way to take his powers away and make him a regular human. For Homelander, that would be a fate way worse than death. His whole life he's believed he's above everyone else. He looks down on humans and basically hates them. So imagine an ending where he has to live out the rest of his life in prison, not as the strongest man alive, but just some guy. No power, no status, no control. And since this season apparently shows him putting other people in prison, it would actually make a lot of sense if the show flipped that onto him in the end. It would be a nice twist since everyone thinks he's going to die. I can just picture the last scene of him is in prison, and knowing Eric Kripke and all of his weird fantasies, a massive black guy would walk up behind him and Homelander wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Stay tuned for my video on how Eric Kripke has single-handedly ruined the boys. Now let's really quickly talk about Ashley. At the end of Season 4, we see that she takes Compound V and will almost certainly have powers in Season 5. But what powers will she have? Well, a lot of people have theorized that she will have some type of firepower. Pretty much just because she has red hair, and in some scenes in Season 4, she's wearing clothes that kind of looks like flames on them, and she just wears a lot of red throughout the show. But in my opinion, they're probably going to give her some weird ass power that no one wants to see her use. Knowing the show, they won't give her something basic like fire powers, but only time will tell. And finally, let's talk about who might die in this last season. But before I get into my own predictions, which to be honest are based on almost no evidence, let's start with the characters who actually do have something backing up the theory. The second to last episode of this season is titled The Frenchman, the Female, and the Man Called Mother's Milk. A lot of fans think this title is basically hinting that Frenchie, Kamiko, and Mother's Milk are all going to die in that episode. And honestly, it does make some sense. They're major characters, but they aren't super essential to the main plot anymore. None of them have storylines that directly connect to the core narrative in a big way. The show could kill them off and the main story would still move forward the same way. And since it's the second to last episode, that's usually when shows take big risks, so anything is possible. But now let's get into my own predictions with little to no evidence. I just want to predict stuff and see if I get it right. Huey, Starlight, and Ashley are all completely safe. I think the Deep is also safe. They will probably give him a comedic ending. It's still going to be bad for him, but I don't think he's going to die. Now, Carl Urban, Billy Butcher himself, has hinted that an important character is going to die at the start of Season 5. And honestly, I think that character is going to be A-Train. Like I mentioned earlier, everyone knows A-Train is pretty much guaranteed to die this season, and when you look at the trailer, he barely shows up at all. He's in one scene, which makes the idea even more believable. Killing him off in the first episode would actually be the perfect way to do it. After all, most of us thought he was done for at the end of Season 4, and then he just wasn't even in the final episode. So giving him an early death in Season 5 would make sense and would set the tone right away. I also think Frenchie, Mother's Milk, and Kamiko are dead, even though a part of me wants to say Kamiko is also safe. Soldier Boy is dead. There's no way he's making out alive, unless they decide to give him a redemption arc, since he's actually not as bad as everyone says he is. Go check out my video on why he's the victim. And if Queen Maeve shows up, she's dead, and Firecracker is probably dead. Huey will probably end up killing Butcher. Those are my predictions for deaths in Season 5. Let's see if I get most of them correct. I bet I will. And even though Ryan is getting brutalized in the trailer, I don't think he's actually going to die, considering that would make Butcher look super bad after what he promised to Becca. Anyways, that's going to be the very end of this video. Let me know what you think in these comments down below, and if you made it this far and have enjoyed, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. If you want to see more conspiracy videos, I have a lot, from The Boys to Stranger Things and many more. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.